This Friday's fun is about performing a statistical analysis on the meetings that we all attend and the amount of time that we spend on just ridiculous activities. And so the mock study is a groundbreaking study that looked at all of our meetings, and we used the sample size of whoever showed up for the meeting, and we observed the meetings in their natural habitat. That'll be Zoom or Teams or pick your conference call technology. And the hypothesis is that we're spending more time not meeting than actually meeting, and I'm sure you don't need the study to agree with that point. And the margin of error, really nobody was paying attention, so it could be whatever we say it is. But here's the key point: we probably could have been doing something else. So let's get into the findings of the study. And again, this is for fun, but probably not that far off. And so, what is a study without a nice pie chart? Here you go. 32% of meetings are spent, time in meetings are spent reading slides to people who are literate. That is my favorite. I'm doing it right now, so I apologize, but that's a lot of meetings. Next up is the Can You Hear Me Now people, followed by waiting for late joiners. That's probably 17% sounds about right in waiting for that. Then there's a lot of time explaining what the meeting was supposed to be about, and that's recurred multiple times. There's the percent of time telling people that they're on mute or repeating questions because somebody was multitasking and not paying attention. 3% is probably actual productive discussion. I think that's accurate. And then you have the person who says I'll be brief, but never are. So a little bit of fun, but probably not too far off from the meetings that you're in. So let's look at when decisions could probably have been an email. If the information was already in the deck that nobody opened or no decisions were made, the only consensus you come to is that we're out of time. That's always fun. And then you just move to the next one and then repeat the cycle. Every question could have been answered with a bullet point. Everybody left confused. The only update is we'll get back to it next week, right? Kicking the can down the road. And the email would have taken 90 seconds instead of 90 minutes. This is probably a majority of the meetings that I'm in. And I have 70 to 80 meetings a week. I counted. I'm not overstating that. It's a lot of meetings. So here's some indicators that you are in an email eligible meeting. The presenter says it's quick. It never is. If 80% of the meeting is someone reading out loud, it probably could have been an email. If no one speaks for the first 10 minutes, probably could have been an email. If the only action is to review the document, that definitely could have been an email. If the meeting ends with let's regroup, try for an email. If the chat is more active than the discussion, could have been an email. If the meeting could have been replaced by a screenshot, could have been an email. And if the meeting is recurring but the purpose isn't, then get rid of that recurrence, send an email, and only meet if you need to. So here's some tips to avoid meetings like that. Send the pre-reads. Assume adults can read. That's always fun, assuming people are literate. The decision-based agenda, if it's not a decision, if you don't need it, then maybe you don't need a meeting. If it's a status, just send it out. Please start on time and summarize, do not narrate. I like the concept of a meeting bouncer. So if somebody is all over the place, you just sort of kick them out of the club and tell them you'll get back to them later. Try to end early. I guarantee if you do this, you will make a lot of friends. And use the asynchronous updates for status and updates and things like that, and the actual meeting time for decisions. So here's a good heuristic: if it requires faces or does it just need words? And if it's words, guess what? It's an email. So here's some fun. Look at all the happy people with open calendars. Meetings should be purposeful, not endurance tests. Respect everyone's time. And by the way, that also goes for people who are showing up to meetings late and telling people to restart or reframe what they already talked about. Just bad form. Asynchronous communication is your friend. That's a fancy way of saying email. If the meeting doesn't change anything, it didn't need to exist. Humor always helps, always, but efficiency helps more. And your team will thank you for fewer meetings, and your calendar will look like those on the left. So if in doubt, email it out. And if you want this presentation, I'll send it to you in an email. Thanks.